Now, when it comes to habits, we've talked about them quite a bit so far together, don't you think? I've shared some habits with you that I've implemented into my life that I feel are changing my life, right? We've also talked about systems, what are they and how they support the habits we're building. Another key piece in this that we've talked about is the importance of habits and how they really do shape our lives. Imagine that this glass of water is you or me. It represents how our life stands today. It's cool, right? There's nothing wrong with it. Now imagine if we allowed the wrong habits to find home in us. Things would suddenly change, right? How we think, how we act and react to situations around us, things would just be different and headed down a dark path that's not truly meant for us. But see, the key is building the right habits and allowing those to find home in us instead. Because when we do, our journeys and our life remain within our control. And we then have the power to decide which direction we want to head in, because we're the ones steering the boat, so to speak. Now, with all this habit building talk we've done up to this point, leads me to another key piece in this puzzle that I've yet to share with you. See, maintaining and building the right habits is only 1/3 of the battle. Creating systems that then support our habits is another 1/3 of the battle. See, the final piece in this that we're missing comes from something I like to call micro habits. These are the little things, right? Small actions we take consistently, both physically, mentally, and emotionally, that fill in the gaps to create this bigger picture. A meaningful and intentional life. The very thing we're working towards on this journey, right? So what are some of these micro habits or small actions I've been implementing consistently that are legitimately changing different aspects of my life for the better? Number one is observing my patterns. See, to be completely transparent with you, something I used to struggle with was being way too hard on myself, even critical of my feelings and actions at times. In hindsight, I was my own worst enemy by far, because all of that energy I was wasting on beating myself up was just making things worse, honestly. Now, instead of being critical and hard on myself, because like I said, it wasn't helping at all, I actually had to learn how to step back and take note of what was prompting those feelings, emotions, and reactions I had. So I was seriously taking notes on everything, like in what moments do I feel most inspired or frustrated and overwhelmed or energetic versus moody, right? It was almost like I was observing myself and my patterns so much that I was basically getting to know me, myself, learning who Ronald L. Banks was or is. And trust me, you'll be surprised by how much you don't know about yourself until you start paying attention. And that's exactly what I did. And it's helped me then, and it's still helping me now. All right. Number two is curating my circle of influence. Now, what does this mean? We've all heard the saying that says you're an average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, which is a very true statement. But it's also true and important to mention that the things we surround ourselves with or the things we feed ourselves with mentally have just as much influence over us as our friendships and relationships do, which is why we have to be intentional about every aspect of our lives. And I've been doing this by building a micro habit out of curating my circle of influence. So anything or person that I no longer find value in using or associating with, or if I noticed its presence makes me feel a feeling I don't want to feel, I take action to remove that item or relationship from my life. Now, this is not meant to be a harsh statement by any means. It's just the truth that comes with growing, right? And a part of that is being observant of our surroundings and curating any and all things that we allow to impact or influence our lives. All right. Number 3 is being a student of life. See, I love learning. There's so much information out there to absorb and use in our lives. And because of this, I believe that we all have a talent of some sort or a skill or a creative interest that we've yet to discover and explore. But why is that, right? Now, speaking from experience, the one thing that I feel is standing in our way and preventing us from discovering or exploring these talents and skills is ourselves. See, I truly believe that the largest roadblock we'll ever face in life is a person we see in the mirror, which means we've allowed our comfort and our current routine of life to to hinder us from exploring new things and skills. And this is why I'm a true fan of Skillshare, who is sponsoring this video, because it helps make the micro habits of being a student of life easy to implement. Now, if you don't know, Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for both creative and curious people. You can explore and learn new things from design and photography to business to productivity to even writing, literally anything you want to learn. And like I said, it makes it easy to become a student of life. For example, as you know, I'm a published poet and I love storytelling and using poetry throughout my content. So I've been taking this interesting class called Writing for Expression by Hanif Abdurraqib, and I have to say it resonates with me on so many levels.
Using poetic language allows you to break free from a rigid structure and give your ideas and concepts and curiosities more breathing room, which gives a reader more space to enter and potentially see themselves in your work. Once you make yourself comfortable with this language, you can use it in forms of writing that may have more structure to them and learn to stretch those structures out further and further.
Now, the thing I like about this class is that it speaks to exactly how I've been using poetry in my life, within my content, and in everything else that I touch, really. I mean, truly, the poetic language is so beautiful to me if you haven't noticed. But I've also been checking out a few other classes on creative writing and creativity in general. Roxane Gay has a really good one. Danielle Krista has a good one as well on creative breakthrough. I've also been diving into a few business topics as well. And believe it or not, Skillshare is actually very affordable, costing less than $10 a month. And since Skillshare is sponsoring this video, the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description will get 2 months of Skillshare Premium for free. And trust me, if I was sitting on the other side of this screen right now, I would definitely be clicking that link for myself because I am truly enjoying all of the classes I am taking. All right, let's get back to more of these micro habits I've been implementing. Number 4 is taking action when I want to do something, but also taking action when I don't feel like it. Let that sink in for a second. Taking action when I want to, but also when I don't feel like it. See, I'm human just like you are, and I have plenty of days where I'm feeling lazy and uninspired and unmotivated, right? But I also have plenty of days where I'm overflowing with inspiration and energy, so much so that it feels like there aren't enough hours in a day. Now, the key to this has everything to do with mindset. Everything, because our minds are very powerful and they truly influence how we feel and how we act. I know personally, when I first implemented this micro habit into my life a while back, it opened my eyes to the true power of consistency, momentum, and hard work, regardless if I felt like it or not, right? A good example of this is training my body, a habit I've talked about in a previous video. Now, there are plenty of days where I simply don't feel like it. I don't want to run. I don't want to squat, do push-ups, pull-ups, none of it, right? But I do it because maintaining a healthy and active lifestyle is important to me. And a part of that is building consistency around those things. The same thing can be said for my debt-free journey, right? I didn't always feel like paying extra on my student loans every month, especially watching how my money would come in and then go right back out the door, right? But I did it because I understood that the consistency, momentum, and hard work would pay off. And it did, because I'm sitting here today 100% debt-free. Number 5 is listening to and trusting my heart. This little thing that's beating in the middle of my chest, right? See, to keep this simple, many of us struggle with trusting ourselves, which makes it very difficult to grow on this journey we call life, to try and experience new things, to learn new skills, or to just open ourselves up to the possibility of achieving anything. But see, trusting and believing in yourself is all you really need to get started down whichever path you choose to travel. Whether it's minimalism and intentional living, or pursuing a creative passion, or whatever that thing is for you. Listen to and trust your heart. It's the best decision I could have ever made for myself. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit a thumbs up for me. If any of these micro habits sound interesting and are things you want to try out in your life, let me know in the comment section down below so we can continue talking about them. It's your first time tuning in, welcome. I'm really glad to have you here. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and tap the bell so you're notified every time I drop a new video. Always remember to stay true to you, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.